A very good afternoon. You're watching Midday News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us start the bulletin with the headlines. Issue of Dalit protests in Maharashtra are raised in Rajya Sabha. Opposition demands judicial inquiry. Shiv Sena says Maharashtra government handled the situation well. Rajya Sabha slated to continue discussion on the anti-triple talaq bill. Responding to opposition's demand to send the bill to select committee, government says time is short since Supreme Court order indicates that law should be made within 6 months. Upper House scheduled to have a short-term discussion on the country's economy today. Discussion to focus on the investment environment and the state of employment in the country. Union Minister Rajnath Singh tells Lok Sabha that claims of Assam National Register for citizens driving out a certain section of population are baseless. Assures that NRC is being conducted under Supreme Court supervision. And the third round of a Swachh Sarvekshan starts from today. All cities and towns in India to be ranked on the basis of infrastructure development for improved sanitation services and their sustainability. First up, news from Rajya Sabha, where the issue of Dalit protests in Maharashtra was resonated once again on Thursday. The issue was raised by Congress MP Rajni Patil. She questioned the security preparedness of the Maharashtra government for the Bhima Koregaon event in Pune, where clashes took place, sparkling the unrest. Now, Samajwadi Party's Naresh Agarwal demanded an inquiry into the matter. NCP's Sharad Pawar also appealed to the government to bring the situation to normalcy as quickly as possible. Kanimori of the DMK sought a long-term solution to the issue of violence against the Dalits, and Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut said that Maharashtra government handled the situation well.
राज्य सरकार को और पुलिस संगठन को इसकी पूरी जानकारी थी कि यहाँ पे इतनी तादाद में लोग आने वाले हैं। 28 दिसंबर को एक छोटी सी घटना वड़ू में भी हुई थी। वड़ू जहाँ से नजदीक में एक गांव है, वहाँ से भी घटना हुई थी। लेकिन ये सब जानते हुए भी राज्य सरकार ने जो घटना प्रतिबंध करने के लिए, ऐसी घटना न घटे और लोगों को सुरक्षा मिले, ये करने के लिए कोई भी इसका कोई भी इलाज किया नहीं था।
ये सरकार के संरक्षण में नहीं प्लीज, सरकार के संरक्षण इससे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। मैं चाहूंगा कि इसमें जो लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं उनके खिलाफ कड़ी कार्रवाई हो और एक बड़ा कमीशन बना दिया जाए जो कमीशन सारी रिपोर्ट दे दे, हाउस रिपोर्ट के आधार पर कार्रवाई। थैंक यू।
Even management, sir, I will say this much, that this political lynching should immediately stop, sir. So it should immediately stop, and I demand, sir, that this judicial inquiry has been ordered, but it should be carried out immediately in an impartial manner.
दलितों पर अत्याचार हो रहा है और क्या वजह है, बिल्कुल होना नहीं चाहिए और जहाँ हो रहा है मेरे ख्याल से तुरंत उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए और हमारा पार्टी इसका कंडेम करती है।
It had a tactical support of administration, police and ruling party. So I demand a judicial inquiry with a sitting Supreme Court judge so that entire thing will be brought to book. Some action must be taken.
मैं निवेदन करता हूं कि इस घटना की जो जांच कराई जाए सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सिटिंग जज के द्वारा कराई जाए। दूसरा, ये पूरे महाराष्ट्र के अंदर जो दलितों को जो बेगुनाह हैं, जो आंदोलन में शामिल भी नहीं थे, उन्हों से घरों से पकड़ करके उनको बंद किया जा रहा है, पुलिस के द्वारा पीटा दिया जा रहा है, उसको रोका जाए।
1 तारीख को वहाँ लाखों की संख्या में लोग जाने के लिए गए, इनके ऊपर कोई पत्थरबाजी हो गई। मुझे लगता है कि जब इतने बड़े पैमाने पर लोग वहाँ जाने की परिस्थिति में थे, ये सबको मालूम था, तो इसमें ज़रा ज़्यादा ध्यान देने की आवश्यकता थी।
Whatever has happened today is not, it cannot be looked at as an isolated incident, and we have to look at long-term solutions. There is a lot of pain, fear, and a feeling of getting into a ghetto for the minorities, for the Dalits, women, and students. I think this has to be addressed, and a long-term solution has to be found, and they have to be made to feel comfortable and safe in this country.
महाराष्ट्र सरकार की भूमिका बहुत ही संयमी रही। परिस्थिति और बिगड़ सकती थी, लेकिन सरकार ने जिस भूमिका को ध्यान में देकर जो उस वक्त किया है, मुझे लगता है वो ठीक किया है।
सानू हर इंसान को बराबर एक हर च परमात्मा का रूप जिवें नज़र आउंदा है, जो सानू गुरु की सिक्ख्या है उहदे मुताबिक समझ के हर इंसान की कितनी कदर है, सानू एकता नाल काम करना चाहिए ताकि देश साडा दुनिया के मुकाबले च अगे बढ़ सके, गरीबी खत्म हो सके, भाईचारा कायम हो सके।
I have no hesitation to say this, and this has to be condemned by all the parliament, and we should address Dalit question with all honesty and sincerity.
Thank you. इसका पॉलिटिकलाइजेशन ना करते हुए दलित पर अत्याचार हमेशा हर साल में कम से कम 45,000 दलित पर अत्याचार की घटनाएं होती है।
धन्यवाद।
और इसीलिए उसको खत्म करने के लिए सभी लोगों ने कोशिश करनी चाहिए।
जो पुणे में शनिवारवाड़ी के सामने जो हुई, उसमें उस अभिवादन सभा में उस महान सैनिकों का शौर्य का उनके बारे में बात कहनी चाहिए थी, लेकिन वहाँ जो बातें हुई वो जिग्नेश मेवानी हो, उमर खालिद हो, उन्होंने जो भड़काऊ भाषण किए वहाँ वो इस देश में इस भड़काऊ भाषण करने का उन्होंने प्रयत्न किया।
And Rajya Sabha will continue the discussion on the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2017. The bill was introduced in the upper house by Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad on Wednesday. The opposition has demanded that the bill be sent to the Select Committee for further scrutiny. Leader of the House, Arun Jaitley, questioned the permissibility of the opposition's resolution to send the bill to the Select Panel as it defied the established conventions of the House. He also underscored the need for the legislature to work responsibly as the Supreme Court, while terming triple talaq as unconstitutional, had barred it for 6 months, indicating that a law seeking to criminalize the practice must come into effect within that period. The bill was passed by the Lok Sabha on 28th of December. The bill criminalizes the practice of instant triple talaq by Muslims and also provides for a jail term and fine for the husband. All right, my colleague Kriti Mishra is now joining us live. Kriti, now the issue of Dalit protests in Maharashtra again was raised in the Rajya Sabha, and opposition also demanded a judicial inquiry. But thankfully, the discussion was smooth, unlike the disruption that was seen yesterday.
Well, that's right, Aishwarya. So several members had tendered notices under various rules over this issue. So the chairman allowed members across political spectrum to make their submissions. But most importantly, remember, Aishwarya, the chairman urged the members to be very specific in their submissions so that tension is not escalated in Maharashtra. He also urged the members not to indulge in any kind of political slugfest. So members across political lines, they urged that this violence in Maharashtra should be contained. They also said that an independent and thorough inquiry should be conducted and culprits must be brought to book. The members also said that if there's any conspiracy to vitiate the peaceful environment in the state, if that is there, then certainly strict action should be taken. And also, the members gave a very positive message that instead of indulging in this kind of caste violence, India should think about development and progress. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. And Kriti, as far as triple talaq bill is concerned, of course, uncertainty continues on the fate of the bill, with only 2 days left for the winter session of Parliament. So has there been any effort really to end the deadlock between the government and the opposition over the bill? What are your sources telling you?
Well, Aishwarya, a bill to ban the practice of triple talaq was introduced in the Rajya Sabha yesterday by Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. But remember, the opposition and the Treasury benches were not on concurrence over the bill. So the opposition parties are demanding that the bill be sent to the Select Panel for further scrutiny. But remember, the government made it extremely clear that there was a need for an exigent legislation, because remember, a 5-member constitutional bench of Supreme Court had struck down the practice of triple talaq and used its extraordinary power and banned this practice for a period of 6 months. So, in fact, Leader of Rajya Sabha, Arun Jaitley, made it extremely clear that that deadline ends on February 22nd, and it was extremely important to consider this law. But remember, the opposition members were keen on sending this bill to the Select Panel. The BJP also slammed the Congress for double-speak on this issue, because they said that the Congress supported the bill in the Lok Sabha. Remember, the bill, this particular bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha, and all the amendments were defeated. So if the opposition continues to press for its demand for sending the bill to the select panel, then Aishwarya, certainly the passage of the bill would be scuttled in this session, and the bill is expected to be taken then in the next session. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. And Kriti, also Rajya Sabha will take up a short duration discussion on the state of the economy today. That should also be interesting.
Well, absolutely. So a short duration discussion would be raised by Congress leader Anand Sharma, and members of TMC and BJD are also slated to take part in this discussion. So the discussion is on the state of economy, investment climate, and also job creation in the country. Remember, Aishwarya, India's economic growth accelerated to 6.3% in the September quarter after it plummeted to 5.7% in the June quarter after destocking because of implementation of GST.
Yes.
But remember, economists expect a sustained recovery in the economic growth in the next quarter. So certainly a very interesting short duration discussion listed to be taken up in the Rajya Sabha. Aishwarya?
All right, Kriti, thank you so much for all those updates on Rajya Sabha there. Let's also talk about Lok Sabha. And during the question hour, questions were raised on the construction of barrages across the Mahanadi River, unused airstrips and airports, transmission towers of AIR, air taxi service in Delhi NCR, and Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana as well. Now, Union Water Resources Minister Nitin Gadkari gave a statement on the construction of barrages across Mahanadi River. He said that the centre could initiate a dialogue on the sharing of water between Chhattisgarh and Odisha, and that the tribunals often take years to solve such disputes.
Why is it that it has not followed its own law and act and enacted a tribunal as per the section 4.1 of the Interstate Water Dispute Tribunal?
It will be a time-bound manner. Resolutions has to be done. If that is there, why should you wait for a new bill, a composite bill for all tribunals to be formed?
ट्रिब्यूनल होने के बाद 28-28 साल 30-30 साल कोई निर्णय नहीं हुआ है। मैं आपको जो चाहिए वो अगर 2 महीने के अंदर, 15 दिन के अंदर, 8 दिन के अंदर मेरे साथ बैठकर आपको चाहिए वो निर्णय कर देता हूं। अगर नहीं कर दिया तो आप ट्रिब्यूनल में जाओ, आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए हो और सब जगह जाओ, पर जो बात आपस चर्चा करके अगर सॉल्व होने लायक है और आपका अधिकार आपको जो लगता है वो मिल रहा है, तो ट्रिब्यूनल में जाने की जिद क्यों कर रहे हो?
Meanwhile, protests also erupted in Lok Sabha over the Assam National Registry of Citizens, and Home Minister Rajnath Singh said that Assam NRC is being conducted under the Supreme Court's supervision, and if someone's names has been left out, they can register again. The Home Minister's response came after TMC MP Saugat Rai said that the first draft of the NRC in Assam was a conspiracy to drive out one particular community from Assam.
This is a serious matter. This is a conspiracy to drive out Bengali-speaking people from Assam, and they should be allowed to remain in Assam. Our West Bengal Chief Minister has already mentioned this, that this is a very bad conspiracy.
इस समय असम में एनआरसी का काम जो चल रहा है वह सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सुपरविजन में एनआरसी का काम चल रहा है, और पहली सूची 1,90,00,000 लोगों की जो है प्रकाशित हुई है। कोर्ट ने भी कहा है किसी को परेशान होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। यदि किसी का नाम कहीं पर छूट गया है तो पुनः वह ट्रिब्यूनल को अप्लाई कर सकता है, दे सकता है, और उसकी पूरी तरह से छानबीन होगी। यह एलिगेशन जो लगाया जा रहा है कि लोगों को वहां से बाहर खदेड़ने की कोशिश की जा रही है, यह पूरी तरह से बेसलेस एलिगेशन है।
And Lok Sabha will continue discussion on the High Court's and the Supreme Court judges' salaries and conditions of service amendment bill 2017. The bill was moved by Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday. And tabling the bill, the Law Minister had said that the bill was aimed at enhancing the remuneration of judges of High Courts and Supreme Court and aligning them with the recommendations of the 7th Pay Commission. All right, let's get all the updates from Ravindra Singh Shoran, who's also joining us live from the national capital. Ravindra, of course, the legislative agenda of Lok Sabha going on smoothly, though there were some protests over the Assam National Registry of Citizens.
Yeah, that issue was raised by Aishwarya, the Trinamool Congress Member of Parliament, Saugat Rai. He a leveled allegation against the government that the government is trying to crosshair some particular segment of people, and they just want to take all the people of Bengal-speaking people out of Assam. But Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, made it clear that whatever the exercise is going on, this is all on the orders of the Supreme Court. And if somebody feeling that injustice has been done to him, he is free to take his case further to the tribunal, and appeal can be filed against the judgment of the NRC. Despite of this, in the question are the issue of Mahanadi River, which is a bone of contention, the water dispute, which is a bone of contention between Odisha and Chhattisgarh, was also surfaced today when the issue was raised by Member of Parliament from BJD, and he was seeking the government's response that why the government is, despite of it being bound with the constitution, why the government is not going ahead and forming a tribunal to sort out this dispute. Nitin Gadkari, the Water Resources Minister, made it clear that government has no problem in forming a new tribunal, but the government is in the process of bringing a new legislation by which all the tribunals which were made for the to settle the water dispute will be formed under one tribunal. So please wait for a couple of more days. In the meanwhile, you are welcome. The Odisha government and Chhattisgarh government should come together, and if we are sitting across the table, then with the deliberation and discussion, we can definitely reach on a conclusion, and something positive in that direction can be coming out. He also mentioned that after this government came into being in 2014, the government successfully could solve the issues of water dispute between Gujarat and Maharashtra, and Ken and Betwa River dispute that has also been settled down. And also Bhartri Mehtab, the leader of Biju Janata Dal, the Member of Parliament, he also raised this issue a couple of days back when he requested the government to bring this issue in the Parliament so that all the aggrieved party, they can ventilate their views in this regard, so that government can form some solution can be sought to this issue. Despite that, beside this, the Civil Aviation Minister Ashok Gajpati Raju has said that the government is trying to work out under the, different schemes so that the non-operational airports which are not working right now, but their infrastructure they can also be restarted.
Lok Sabha, right. Thank you so much, Ravindra, for all those updates on Lok Sabha. Let's get you some other news now. The third round of a Swachh Sarvekshan, a nationwide cleanliness survey, was launched in New Delhi today. Speaking at the launch, Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri termed the survey an imperative component for urban growth and advocated sanitation as part of school curriculum. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is conducting the survey in all 4,041 statutory towns across India to evaluate cleanliness level in urban areas. Projected as the world's biggest survey and the first of its kind pan-India exercise, cities and towns will be ranked on the basis of infrastructure development for improved sanitation services and their sustainability. Negative marking has also been introduced this time to ensure that cities do not make false claims about improvements in sanitation infrastructure, and the results will be declared in the month of April.
What are these broad parameters which will be used for this process? One is collection and transportation of municipal solid waste. Secondly, processing and disposal of municipal solid waste to encourage cities to process their waste and wherever possible, recycle the dry waste. Sanitation-related progress, to whether cities have ODF status, whether they have access to toilets available.
And Mumbai police registered 16 FIRs and detained over 300 people in connection with the protests by Dalit groups during the day-long bandh on Wednesday against the Bhima-Koregaon caste clashes. Meanwhile, protests were witnessed in Mumbai's Parel area after police denied permission for an event which was scheduled to be addressed by Dalit leader Jignesh Mevani and JNU student leader Umar Khalid. Mevani and Khalid were also booked by the Pune police on charges of creating communal disharmony in Pune on Monday during the 200th anniversary celebrations of the Bhima-Koregaon battle. The Chief Minister has ordered a probe into the matter. An External Affairs Minister, Sushma Swaraj, is embarking on a tri-nation tour to Thailand, Indonesia and Singapore today. The 5-day visit of the External Affairs Minister is aimed at boosting India's ties with the 3 key Southeast Asian nations in the strategic domain as well as in the areas of trade and investment. Sushma Swaraj will be in Thailand on Thursday and Friday on the first leg of her visit. Now, during the visit, she will hold extensive talks with her counterpart with an aim to expand bilateral cooperation. During her visit to Indonesia on 5th and 6th of January, Sushma Swaraj will co-chair the 5th meeting of the Indo-Indonesia Joint Commission with her Indonesian counterpart as well. And the two ministers will also inaugurate the second meeting of the ASEAN-India network of think tanks. Swaraj will also call on the President of Indonesia and interact with the representatives of the Indian community. She will then travel to Singapore for a 3-day-long trip from 6th to 8th of January. And during the visit, she will inaugurate the regional Pravasi Bharatiya Divas of ASEAN nations on 7th of January. And 3 Indian and 7 Nepalese girls trapped in human trafficking in Kenya were rescued today. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on a Thursday informed that 10 girls have been rescued from Kenya. In a series of tweets, Sushma Swaraj said that the girls were trafficked to Kenya and held captive in Mombasa, adding that their passports and their phones were also taken away. She further said that the girls were flown back to India and the details are being shared with the Punjab government to take appropriate action against the culprits. Sushma Swaraj also thanked the Kenyan police and also appreciated the Indian authorities in Kenya for their efforts in rescuing the girls. And BSF troops killed an intruder along the international border in Jammu district yesterday. BSF opened fire after suspicious movement of 2 to 3 persons near the border outposts in Arnia sector. While an intruder was killed, 2 others managed to escape. BSF forces also destroyed 2 Pakistani posts in retaliation to the killing of an Indian constable on Wednesday. More news from Mumbai, where 4 people, including 2 children, died and 5 others were seriously injured after an upper floor of a residential building in suburban Marol in Mumbai caught fire early today morning. Mumbai Fire Brigade got a call at about 2:10 a.m. about the fire at the 4th floor of a ground plus Mamoon Manzil building in Andheri East, after which the fire brigade swung into action to douse the fire. And according to the disaster management unit of the BMC, 5 people had received burns and they are admitted in hospital. The cause of the fire is not yet known. Let's get you all the international news. And 3 people have been killed in winter storms that are sweeping across Western Europe. The tens of thousands of people have been affected by power cuts and air travel has also been disrupted. 2 people drowned on Spain's northern Basque coast after being swept away by a huge wave, and a skier was killed by a falling tree in the French Alps. Winds of up to 147 km per hour were recorded in France. 15 people were injured in incidents across the country, 4 seriously. In Switzerland, strong wind blew a train carriage off the tracks, injuring 8 people. Some 14,000 homes in the country are left without power, and record wind gusts of 195 km per hour have been recorded as well. The storm has also swept over the Netherlands, parts of Germany and Austria. Europe has been hit after the storm battered the UK as well, where thousands of homes are without power and travel was also disrupted. That's all in this edition of Midday News. But before we go, here are the visuals of frozen Niagara Falls that have turned into a winter wonderland. Even as the temperature here has fallen to minus 14 degrees Celsius, it continues to remain a world attraction, with the mist from the surging waters freezing instantly on everything it touches, coating trees, walkways, and basically turning everything into a dreamy white scenery. Have a look as we end this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.